Let's get Daniel in. Oh, weird. I just see myself full screen on the TV right in front of me. Oh, it's definitely
It was
something
bad to have
you
to
don't.
on a projector screen, 120 foot. That was very scary.
Yes, not what you're expecting.
I've done worse.
Yeah.
I think the worst one ever was when I did a talk and we used the cinema as the venue.
Right.
And of course, they could at any moment put me full screen behind me on the screen,
and you wouldn't know.
Yeah, 120 feet or whatever it was.
That's what we need for the user group.
Oh. Well, hopefully I'll get one of those Epson's projectors, which will be capable of doing pretty big screen.
Excellent. Right, so just waiting for Daniel. He says it's minor crisis back now, but so I've just invited him to the call. So. I said he's online. It's calling him, it says.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool. Just an email from J River. They're going to give us a voucher of $10 for everybody who attends the user group.
Oh, great. You put that. Remind me about that after then, because I'm going to do a post about some of the prizes, because we've got some prizes.
Yeah.
Right, so I'll just send this link out.
I'm going to be rushed on Thursday. I've got about 12 interviews to do now. Some of them actually I'm going to take notes and then take things down. Let's see. I've got into the Samsung conference.
Oh, that's good. It's fancy having a look at those. Well, it's the new Note, isn't there? It could be out.
Well, that's if they're allowed to show anything. Apparently, there's some rumour the German police might be raiding them.
Oh.
On Apple's behalf.
That's just Good evening there.
Hey, hello.
I couldn't find the button to start this bloody thing. I don't know what I did there. I couldn't answer it for me.
That gets me every week, and I do this every week, and I can still never end the call properly. Gary's left there thinking, when's he going to drop the call?
Yeah, I just hang on until the ether disappears.
Yeah, it happens to every week. It's virtually impossible to drop the call until I find it. Seems to be somewhere else every time as well. I used to know where it was, but now it changes. Right, well, we are live chat room, videos recording, audio's recording, everything is recording. That's good. So Daniel Vieira and Gary Whittaker, welcome to the show.
Good as ever to be here.
Good evening. Thank you for having me back again.
Yeah, it's good to get you back on. We've already got fans in the chat room about your media portal article.
Well, what can I say?
It was a good article.
It was a very good article. We're going to be talking about that. Of course, we did a longer show about that a couple of weeks ago, but we'll mention that. We've got some Raspberry Pi news and some other news as well about Windows 8 stuff. So quite a lot to talk about this week. And let's start then with the Raspberry Pi. Now, I'm glad you're both on because we've all been sort of playing with it this week. So last week, the Raspberry Pi Foundation announced that you could purchase MPEG-2 and VC1 codecs. Now, we'll start with you, Gary. So what does buying an MPEG-2 codec and a VC1 codec actually get you?
It allows you to play things encoded in those formats, which is quite a lot of stuff actually. And most we call TV from media centers in that format. Quite a lot of DVD stuff's in either of those formats. So there's a lot of media which you couldn't play before on the Raspberry Pi easily, which by these podcasts you can do. It was all down to cost. I mean, basically that they didn't want to include the cost of that in every single unit. Although having said that, they seem to have negotiated a remarkably good deal on these codecs.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. The price, what was it, £2.40 for the MPEG-2 and £1.40 for the VC1? Something like that?
Yeah, which seems a remarkably good value for money. Because certainly you can pay, manufacturers can pay an awful lot more for those codecs. So, yeah, good job there.
So, Daniel, did you purchase the codecs?
I've not got around to it yet, but I am definitely going to do that because it's a fantastic price, and obviously it'll make an XBMC build on a Raspberry Pi. You know, it'll basically make that complete now for a small HD PC.
So I purchased them, and then it was about a day later. I think I actually got the codes. In fact, I got the codes twice, and they said the first codes were wrong. But I'd been testing off that, and it seemed right. So I don't know what it was. But what you've got to do when you get when you get the codes is there's a config.txt file on the FAT partition of your SD card of whatever image you use. So if you've downloaded Raspbian MC, sorry, or OpenELEC, and then you'll see it in the FAT partitions is config.txt, and you just add a couple of lines in there of some codes that the Raspberry Pi Foundation send you after you've done your purchase. And I tried streaming recorded TV from my media center machine over the network. And the first one I tried was a standard def recording. I think it was off channel 5, and it worked absolutely perfect. And previously, I think that was audio only.
Yeah,
which makes sense.
Yeah, so that works absolutely fine. No problems at all. In fact, it picked up the subtitles, which you could turn off. It picks up the audio description as well. If that was present, you could turn that on or off. And yeah, no issues at all. Streaming over the network, absolutely great. So that previously that didn't work, and that now works. And then I tried a channel 4 HD recording. Again, all recorded with Freeview HD, and that was just as good. No problems with that at all. And ITV4 I tried, that was fine. But when it came to BBC One HD, I had a lot of stuttering with that, and now I wondered whether it was a network issue and whether I should try and copy the content locally, or whether I think one of you guys actually mentioned it could be a decoder issue or an encoding issue, the way that BBC do it.
Yeah, I think it might be something to do with that, because in my previous tinkering, I've streamed BBC HD via XBMC just on a standard PC, and you do get issues like that with recorded content as well as live. And I'm not sure what it is. It's something, but from what I've read, it's something to do with the way they encode, or something to do with the bit rate or something like that. And it seems to work great on the Media Center and Media Portal as well. It works spot on. But if something to do with XBMC, it has problems with it. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a codec issue. It sounds more like it's not interpreting the way either the video or the audio is encoded, because they use AAC video encoding on the BBC HD stuff for the audio. So I can imagine that may not be being picked up properly.
Yeah, but when it came to a Channel 4 recording, it was absolutely spot on. In fact, John Hill in the chat room says he had sound issues. He couldn't get HD recordings to play audio, but I had no problems with that on a Channel 4 show. And the BBC show worked. It's just seemed to be laboured and stuttery and sort of syncing the audio up.
Yeah, I suspect it's the way it's interpreting the AAC stuff. So, and of course, Channel 4 they don't use it all the time. They sometimes, I'm trying to remember what they use for their 5.1 encoding. They may actually use Dolby on there, which I think XBMC would cope with.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. It was just something I've recorded as well, so I'm not sure yet. But for the stuff that did work, the Channel 4 and the ITV and the Channel 5, absolutely fine. BBC One standard def recordings as well, absolutely fine. So really, you've got pretty close to a media center extender there. Oh, and the other thing I tried as well was, the wildlife video that comes with Windows 7. Yeah, with the seagulls, I think it is, or the birds, I can't remember now. Anyway, that played back fine as well, and I know that definitely didn't work before.
Which is not surprising, because that's an MPEG-2 video.
Yeah. So I don't know what the difference to purchasing the VC1 codec would make, because I just got both, but I'm not sure whether you would need that if everything that's media center related will be MPEG-2.
Well, there's obviously some MPEG-4 stuff on there as well, H.264 stuff. So I'm not sure actually what the VC1 one covers.
There are some older Blu-rays that are used to be VC1, isn't there?
Because that's Microsoft's format, isn't it?
Yeah, this is what they used on HD DVD. Just trying to think what's it does. I mean, it also it does use it. It's basically H.263, isn't it? And MPEG-4 Part 2. I'll have to look it up and find out a bit more information. But I mean, there certainly is some stuff which was on the in Media Center at one stage. Some of the demo videos and things were VC1.
I wonder if I could try. I was just thinking of the BBC whether to convert them to DVRMS, but it won't, will it, because of the HD audio?
Yeah.
So really, to get the BBC working, you're looking at recording the standard def stream, or maybe we're going to still need transcoding. I just wanted to get away from transcoding, but it's certainly a lot closer than it was.
In terms of the conversion, I have again tried when I was trying to different things. I did take a BBC HD recording and convert it to transport stream, and it still had the same issue. So it's definitely not the way it's enclosed. It's definitely something to do with the actual stream itself.
Right. Now, a question is, Diehards asked, what about HD home runs? I haven't set that up yet. I did get it to kind of work last time, so I suspect I should be able to get that to work this time. It was just getting the audio control working. I'm not sure how. Sorry, not the audio control, the actual controlling of the HD home run. I never got the plugin to work. I don't know if you've tried using the XBMC HD home run on the Raspberry Pi. The XBMC HD home run add-in. Have you tried that? Is that clear?
Silence. Well, as I still haven't got a Raspberry Pi, which makes maybe shocking, but I haven't tried it.
And I've got a Raspberry Pi, but not an HD home run, so
it's down to me then.
Yeah,
I've got both. It's down to me. It's something I'll have to try this week.
If Mr. Vieira has to send me his Raspberry Pi, I have to send him my spare HD home run.
Yeah, because I did get a little bit of progress with it last time, so I think I'll have to try some more on that, because I theoretically think that should work. If you can't get the plugin working, I did manage to open the stream directly using the controller app for the iPad, the HD Home Run controller app, so maybe able to get that working as well. So it's certainly a step forward, and for those people that don't care about those codecs, they don't have to pay for them. It's kind of Microsoft's argument, isn't it? If you don't care about the codecs, you don't pay for them. If you do need them, just pay for them, but they're not particularly expensive if you want to have a go with it.
I say remarkably cheap compared to what they could have cost.
And just a note on that as well, they are tied to the serial number of your Raspberry Pi. So if you have more than one, or you're switching boards around, you will need to purchase a serial number for each. Purchase the codec for each Raspberry Pi board that you've got. Mm-hmm. But at £1.14, it's not a lot to pay. So good progress on that. Anyway, it's good to see that. But all this I used was the Raspberry MC. I haven't tried it in OpenELEC, but I believe the latest version should work.
Good.
So good stuff on that. Now, it might have a Raspberry Pi to give away at the user group. I might.
Woohoo! Can I win?
No, you can't. You can't win.
Oh, foiled again. You know about my luck at winning things.
Yeah, no, you would win that, wouldn't you? I think you always would. You won at last raffle we had, didn't you? I'm sure you.
Yeah, I did. I put it back in.
Yes, you did, yeah. Right, so some other news from the week I want to talk about. First we've got the major graphic announcement. Microsoft's new logo. What do you think?
It looks like Microsoft's very old logo, except it's a bit squarer. I don't know. I mean, I hate to think how much money they spent on that.
How many focus groups and consultants? And
I know. But having said that, it does look very can't say that. New Windows 8 style.
Yeah, it does. There's been massive amount written about it as well.
Yeah. I saw I think it was about an 18-page blog post on one of the design and arts types about how bad it was.
Because actually, previously, really, Microsoft haven't really had a logo, have they?
Well, the italicized text has been their logo basically going, and it is pretty identifiable. It has been for many years. I mean, it's a quite big change for them because it's the first time they've really had an image logo as such. It's always just been the text.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's because it kind of recognizable logo is the Windows logo, really, isn't it? So it's kind of got that in there. But yeah, a lot of I would imagine a lot of money and debate over something so simple like that.
Yeah, I think probably the one most significant thing about it is, as you say, it's got the Windows logo in there, and that's because basically Microsoft has become the Windows company. It's basically a single product company almost, with Office as being part of that family now almost. You can see the focus is now totally on Windows.
Yeah. As I believe some people reckon that the blue is for Windows, the green is for Xbox, the red is for something else, and something else.
I mean, you can almost see. I could almost see a future where we have the Xbox becoming the Microsoft Windows game system.
Yeah, although they've got a good brand, I suppose.
They have, yeah. Really, I mean, obviously, we haven't totally seen what the branding for video and audio is going to be in the Windows 8. So, is that Xbox? Is it going to be Windows Audio, Windows sort of videos, and etc.? I don't know.
It's surprising, really, how when it comes to the Windows 8 and the fact that we're running Windows 8 now, I am on a few machines, we still know very little about what the final plans are for the marketing side and the hardware side and pricing of things. And there's so much information is still not out there, considering that the product's finished and in a lot of people's hands. Okay, enough on that anyway.
We can only talk about logos for so long.
Yes.
Unlike that blog, which went on forever and
ever. What about, did you see the post? I thought this was quite interesting. It was on the developer side, but talking about Microsoft did a post about the changes for audio with the Windows 8 apps.
Yeah, and this is basically Windows 8 new experience Metro. Should we stick to Metro for now?
I think we'll stick for Metro for now, yeah.
We're not getting sued by big German supermarkets. Not that they are either. Basically, this audio is about the way it's working in Metro. So what happens when apps switch in and out of being the Prime app application, talking about background audio. So it's somewhat, it has to behave somewhat differently to the conventional desktop way we used to work, where we used to have a mixer and mix the audio in between from all of them. I'm not sure exactly. Well, actually, I'm sure because I've looked at it in Windows 8, and it looks like that still exists for desktop apps. But obviously, for Metro style apps, you need a different way of handling it. And that's this business of basically taking one, obviously taking priority, and then being able to fade out to a background app and all sorts of. It's actually pretty clever if you read it.
Yeah, because it says things like, if you go from one app to the other, you don't necessarily, with Metro apps, it's kind of harder to keep track of them because of the full screen, and so you're not going, so you might not be able to find where they are. So they've got this sort of queuing system, and they can audio notification events get priority and that kind of thing. So I think for developers, it's well worth looking into that. And
I think the interesting thing is it actually works how you'd expect it to work from a user point of view. So it's the right way to work, because sometimes you can really mess audio up. Things full screen don't necessarily play. Or one example I got given was say you have something like Spotify running, and you've also got another music pieces, and you've got Windows or Metro audio playing as well, and you bring that one to the front. Do you want Spotify to disappear, stop playing? Well, you do really, because it's the audio things.
Yeah.
But if you had to play a Skype, the call coming in, you'd want that to play. So and they actually do have that ability within there.
Yeah, I saw that you could kind of control those events, and you could register your audio as a background or a foreground or a notification. It looked quite good. That I tried to have a go at developing just a test app to do that, but I couldn't get the XAML working in my Visual Studio, so I got a weird one of those hex error messages that you get 0x3 something whenever I try and open the designer in Visual Studio. So I got a problem there somehow, and it looks like a permissions thing, so I have to have a play around with that. But yeah, I think it looks, the changes look good. Although I've got kind of used to using the audio mixer, but that's going to be kind of going away, I guess, eventually once the desktop sort of goes away at some point in the future.
Well, I suppose for WinRT, it's definitely going away.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. There won't be an audio. There's no point in having an audio mixer, is there?
No, because you can't mix things. Overlay things, but you can't mix things. Bit difficult. Actually, one point on the whole Windows 8 audio stuff. A lot of the people I've been talking to since I've been talking about J-River, I seem to have attracted quite a few audio files who email me with all sorts of wonderful things. They've been telling me that the Windows 8 audio is actually better than the Windows 7 audio in terms of the way it gets very deep and technical, and audiophile, which isn't always necessarily deep and technical. It's sometimes very subjective, but basically it's to do with jitter and the amount of delay in the signal path. Whether I believe that or not, but people tell me the Windows 8 sounds better.
Yeah. So anyway, link for that in the show notes, and developers can take a look at that. Now, I got a comment from Rich in the chat room. He's put his money where his mouth is regarding Windows 8 and just bought a MacBook Air. His first ever Mac. So interesting to see, Rich, why does Windows 8 put you off? Or why did that put you in the direction of a Mac? I mean, I'm using one now, but what's the reason why you would go that route? And another question I had is regarding the Raspberry Pi. Do you have to add the config.txt file to each image of your Raspberry Pi, OpenELEC and Raspbian and whatever? And yes, you do. So you're going to have to maintain that. So every time you've got a new image, you're going to have to edit that text file. Right, so other stuff I wanted to talk about. There's more streaming stuff going around this week. Sky's Now TV is launched on the Xbox. Now, I haven't tried this yet. But it's $3.49 for a film, or 99p for a classic film, or £15 a month, and you can get that through the Xbox 360. So, Gary, with your bandwidth, is something might be interesting.
Yeah, and to be honest, I thought I'd better give it a try just for let people know how it works, and it works very well. It's using the same streaming as it seems to be using the same streaming as Sky Go does, so similar Silverlight based, I think. And it just works really well. I do on my obviously my bandwidth. I don't tend to get very much stutter anyway, but I was able. It was a very good quality image, good streaming, and good audio as well. So yeah, and not bad pricing really.
Now, if you don't want to go with your supermarket and get some streaming from Sainsbury's.
Yes, Sainsbury's have gone Silverlight as well, haven't they?
Oh well, we actually had two stories on this. One is Tesco's, which is the Blink box.
Yeah, they've gone Silverlight as well, so everybody's going Silverlight.
Yeah, and the other one is Sainsbury's, who have launching a new service.
Yep.
A TV filming, a TV streaming and film streaming service. So, do we really need any more streaming services?
No. We need the ones we got to be better.
Yeah, we do.
This is the problem, isn't it? And I've got Netflix, but there's not enough content on there.
Yeah, and the same's true of Love Film as well. Just as we've said before on this program, Sky have done such a good job of gobbling up the content over the years. In fact, they've got a quite strong. If you look what's on that. The Sky offering, there's so many more films on there than there are over on Love Film or on Netflix at the moment. Obviously, if you do like some people do and contact to Netflix US, you get a bit more ability to see things there.
Yeah, I think you tried this, haven't you, Dan?
Yeah, I'm doing that at the minute, and you get better content, especially for television. Movies, it depends, but they still don't get all. They get a few good titles. They've got some of the Avengers movies like Thor and that recently, and Captain America. They're getting a few nice exclusives, but it still could be better on the movie side.
Yeah, and a lot of that's actually available on the Sky offering over here as well. So, I mean, that Sky offering does seem to be quite good value for money for the stuff you're getting. And you're not necessarily paying a subscription on it, so you can just choose to buy what you want. I think I actually wonder if it might be a better bet for me than Love Film is, because I'm not really getting the value out of Love Film because just the lack of content there. Although I do like the quality on it, especially with the new HD stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's always my thing with. I tend to watch some of the Netflix stuff on a laptop, so I'm not really too worried about the content. But I'm not sure whether I'd be really happy with it as full screen on my TV in the living room. Is it really good enough to replace a sort of a Blu-ray type? Instead of getting it on Blu-ray, you get it on Netflix.
Yeah.
Because have you tried running it? I think you tried running it directly through the Raspberry Pi, haven't you?
No, you can't. You can't get Netflix via that due to the Silverlight.
Of course, yeah. I remember you got it. It was Media Portal. You got it on, wasn't it?
Yeah, we're waiting for the Android release for the Raspberry Pi. Then maybe we might be able to do that.
And so, how you find the Netflix quality on Media Portal?
It's decent. It uses it just uses the web player. But it's a custom browser, so it's pretty seamless. Like I said before, you basically once you make your selection, it switches straight to the Netflix the load screen, and it looks like you're still in Media Portal even though you're not. And the quality is obviously depending on your bandwidth and what settings you have it set to, but you can get HD via the web service. The only thing you can't get is I believe is the audio. I believe the audio is only stereo, but I'm not too concerned about that, and the quality is pretty decent.
I think I have to give that a go. So I'll come back to the Media Portal stuff in a sec. So I'll just finish on the streaming. So as well as Sainsbury's offering the service, as Gary said, there was Blinkbox, which is the Tesco's streaming service, purchased by Tesco's. They've switched over to Silverlight, which is kind of funny considering Microsoft are kind of downplaying Silverlight, but more people are using it now for streaming services.
Yeah, we've had this conversation before. It's because it's so locked down. The content providers love it because they don't think it's going to be pirated in any way, shape, or form. So I think that's basically the reason people are being forced to go to it, because Love Film were basically forced by their content providers to go to it. And I think the same thing may have happened to Tesco's as well.
It's kind of funny though, isn't it? Because we always talk about revenue streams and why Microsoft do products because there's no revenue behind them. Silverlight, they kind of downplay it, but they must get a decent revenue stream from these media companies that are using Silverlight technology.
Yeah, and I think one of the problems here is it's a nomenclature one again. They've used Silverlight to mean many things. I mean, there's obviously the Silverlight web programming, XAML language type stuff, but Silverlight media streaming is almost a separate thing to that because you can embed it into other things. So certainly the Silverlight media streaming, they get quite a bit of money in Encoder licensing on that. So I think there's quite a good revenue stream there, and I think it'll be around for a while.
So you've got like Netflix, now you've got Blinkbox and Love Film, and most people are using Silverlight for streaming their video service.
And I think the Sainsbury's ones are using it as well. I just try and confirm that because I saw that somewhere, but I can't seem to find it at the moment.
Yeah, certainly, and like you said, Sky are as well. Yeah. So anyway, streaming service, plenty of them. Perhaps, like you said, what we could do is less services and more content.
Yeah, and I think at some point there's going to be a shake-up on this stuff. It's going to be too many people trying to provide. Well, certainly on the subscriber-based ones, I don't see people. Someone actually worked this out a few weeks ago, and I think I quoted it on the show that if you actually subscribe to every single service out there, you'd be paying almost £500 a month.
Yeah, something not something that we're going to be doing. When you get your credit card statement and what's all these subscription services?
Yeah.
You'll be getting them if you're asking the credit card company to build them as something adult services just so I don't get in trouble. Honestly, they're adult services. They're not more movie streaming services. Right, now the other thing I wanted to talk about is the really good post Daniel, that you put up there about Media Portal and why you switched. So just give us a brief outline, kind of what you put there. And I know we talked about it in a bit more detail the other week, but there's been some good feedback on that.
Yeah, well, I've been running now for a few weeks, and I've got no intention of going back now. Basically, I switched because I was getting to the point where, I can stick to. I was moving over to XBMC for a lot of other services like online streaming and things like that, and I was watching Netflix on yet another service, and I figured out that I was literally just using Media Center for TV, and we know there are certain things you can and can't do with that anyway. So, and I was using DVB Link at the time to get it all around the house and everything like that, but it wasn't the main use for it that I was needing it for. So I was looking for alternatives, and I looked all over the place for all sorts of stuff, including looking at Linux, which it was very challenging to try and set up. So I thought, I'm going to stick to what I know. And I come across Media Portal, which I had tried maybe a couple of years or so ago, and I didn't quite get on with it, but it seemed to have come on leaps and bounds since I last tried it. And looking at what I could do with it, for free open source software, and what I could do with it that surpassed in a lot of ways a lot of things that Media Center could do with TV. I thought I'd give it a go, and once I got stuck into it, and I found how similar it was in a lot of ways to XBMC, and it was not a surprise since it was a fork of it anyway. It basically made me switch completely to that, because it just gave me everything in one place. So that was the main incentive, everything in one place, and a bit more flexibility for TV and live and recorded TV.
I noticed one of the things that you put on there was was kind of highlighted it for me, was the fact that unlike Media Center, there's active development going on in Media Portal.
Yeah, definitely, yes. They're still continuing to, there's different things going on with they've pretty much got the TV side right, but obviously there's always new cards and new services and things like that to add on to it. But they're doing a lot more with the server side now. As you know, it's already got pretty much a soft sled experience for TV. The next big thing they're doing with Media Portal 2 will be a total client server experience for all media. It's because at the moment you just get it for TV, recorded TV scheduling, EPG, and live TV. But the next big thing is going to be every other library that you have on there, music, video, rips, everything like that will all be integrated into one server, controlled, and then using your clients to access all of that, so you can continue watching your shows or your TV, your movies, wherever you are. So that's the next exciting bit for me, I think.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's got the active development and the sort of, it's more of a networked product. That I think that's what makes it interesting. How are you finding the stability of it now? You've obviously been running it for a few weeks now.
Not a problem at all. I've not had any issues at all. Like I said before, I think you need to have a little bit of experience in tinkering with HTPCs to get it right, and everybody's going to have different requirements. And the beauty of it is there are different flavors of it, so to speak. Like I said before, I'm running a UK specific one, which helps with the EPG and getting metadata and channel information and stuff like that. But obviously, in terms of the recording issues, none at all. I've had absolutely none. It's been rock solid. Once I got the couple of tweaks that I had to do with it, because I think a lot of it is tuner dependent. I had a couple of small issues with my tuners, but once I did a bit of research, put in the correct settings for what I needed, and it's been working rock solid for weeks now.
Well, it's really impressive that, and it's good to see the sort of a system that you can get sort of the functionality and still be stable.
Definitely, yeah.
So is this something you'll be able to bring up to the user group?
Not really.
It's too big, isn't it, to fill in your house?
Yeah, I can't really. I don't think my wife would be too impressed if I took the whole HTPC with me either.
I think so. I'll have to maybe see if I can get it downloaded on a laptop. We can have a look at it.
Yeah, that might be an idea.
Well, I'm going to bring a J River setup with me, so maybe we can dual boot on that, or not dual boot, but dual app.
We're going to be having the battle of the media centers.
Yeah, and they are very different. I mean, I really look. I've been able to play with Media Portal since Daniel's post and also the podcast, and I really like it. It's got a lot of stuff in there which I wish Media Centre had from day one, and also DVB Link had, particularly the ability to play to record all from one on one tuner from one.
Yeah.
My mind's just gone fried
Transponder.
tonight. Transponder, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you very much. I'm definitely having one of those nights tonight. Yeah, but I've been able to record from one transponder is brilliant, especially with the HD channels, as you rightly point out in the article, because being that they're all, most of the UK HD channels are all on one transponder, that just makes such an easy way of recording everything.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to have a look at that, and it's nice to see something with the active development. So it's a good post as well that you've described the setup. So I'll include a link for that in the show notes.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Actually, while on the subject of TV development and that, I was having a chat with Jay River guys on their TV development, and they seem to be progressing quite quickly. And the idea of their live TV streaming is definitely going to be quite interesting to see how that works out in comparison. Obviously, that's more American centric at the moment, but I know that they're working very hard on all that sort of stuff. And obviously, one of the things they're really trying to do, as Jim mentioned on the podcast, is get the whole DCT stuff in the cable card side of stuff working for them. And if they manage to do that, that's going to be quite attractive for American listeners.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing how you get that set up.
I think it will be interesting to compare and contrast the user group if we can. So that'd be quite good. Obviously, the one thing which I'm still finding with the J River stuff is the audio stuff is just way above anything else out there, and all these extra bits and pieces. Even if I still can't get my head around convolution.
Well, going from the audio, I thought you can kind of get into that, can't you? Because it is something you use a lot in the sort of the audio business, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's simulating reverb by using your environment and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, convolution's a powerful thing, but I don't think we need about 4 shows to really get into it.
Yeah, maybe I'll put some convolution reverb on this recording now. Yeah, because I know that when I do my own music recording, that's some of the plugins you can get. You can get a standard sort of reverbs and things, and you can get convolution reverbs, which totally zap your processors. It takes a lot more processing power.
Yeah, I must admit, I did actually have a play with a convolution thing in my room, and it does make a dramatic difference to the playback if you actually tailor one to your room acoustics.
So it matches up what the room and works out the highs and the lows and everything out and matches it back again. And
and it actually does. And the thing they always say is it makes the sound incredibly more natural, and this certainly does. It just sounds like when you've got sort of like a single voice singing, it sounds like that person's in the room.
Excellent. Well, I'm looking forward to having a listen to that. And Rich said, "Did you have a senior moment?"
Yeah, definitely. Even if I don't quite qualify yet.
I like you adding the yet on there. I had an email in that I said I'd mention on the show this week about remote controls. Now, there's a lot of remote controls out there for HTPCs, Media Center, and Media Portal, but there seems to be no perfect solution certainly for this listeners' requirements. And so I did a post to see what other people are. There's quite a lot of comments. So there's obviously a lot of people looking for a remote control solution, because there's a lot of different comments that people put on the posts. But basically, what Justin wanted was one remote control that would control a Media Center PC via Bluetooth or RF and control a TV via IR. He wants a QWERTY keyboard, good battery life, and to look good in the lounge. Obviously, the Media Center remote's no good because there's no QWERTY keyboard on it, and it's infrared only. And so I just wonder sort of what would be your perfect remote control solution for Media Center and for a HTPC. So, Gary, what are you using?
I'm actually not using a remote control at all at the moment. I'm using an RF keyboard, one of these really tiny RF keyboards, which I can hold in my hand, is about the same size as a remote control.
Right.
and I can control everything using that. So I don't really worry too much about the fact it hasn't got some of the remote control keys on. It has got some on. It's got the volumes and some of the play controls on there, so you can use those all right. But that's what I have got a remote control, but I hardly ever pick it up. I tend to pick that up.
Daniel, what are you using?
At the moment, I'm using standard media center controls in combination with my iPhone if I need to type anything in, because I don't normally need to do a lot of typing in. The remote handles everything, so I'm using the standard remote. Then I've got Hippo remote on my iPhone and the server running on the HTPC. So it's quite handy because it'll switch apps as well for you. So, for example, if I do need to fire up XBMC, I can close down Media Portal with the remote and then just fire up the app, go to the profile for XBMC, and it'll fire it up for me. So I don't have to worry about messing around trying to find icons and to click on and things like that. So I find that's enough for my needs.
Yeah,
that's good little app. That actually, I've had to play with that since I've been using it. Other things other than just Media Center, pretty good indeed.
I think sort of finding the one remote control that do everything is really difficult. So I've got a learning remote control, which just about control the media center, but that's now in a cupboard, so that's no good for me. So I still using my VideoBox keyboard, which is bigger than the remote keyboard you're talking about, Gary, but it's RF, it's portable, it's got the transport controls and volume up there, and I just use that all the time. I know it's not the perfect solution, but it works fair enough. But I still end up having to use another remote control to control the TV. And then there's the HDMI switcher, which auto detects things. And of course, you'll be watching Sky, and then the PC will boot itself up to record something and switch it over. And but the audio is on a receiver, so the audio carries on. So I get glares at for why is that not working properly? So I've really not got a good solution yet, especially because of the Skybox and everything else.
Yeah, I must admit, I still do have a Logitech remote as well, just for being able to switch over to the V Plus box and control that, because obviously you can't control that with a keyboard.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd really fancy getting one of the American TiVo remotes for the TiVo, the Virgin TiVo, because it would make life so much easier to have a keyboard on the back to do searches.
Yeah, and I think it was Mark Treborg on Twitter where he said, "Oh, try that one," but it's the TiVo, that particular TiVo one with the keyboard on it isn't available in the UK.
Yeah, it'd be really nice to have that. But I'm told you can actually get it to work with the UK one. Not tried it myself, but
you just have to import it, I suppose.
Yeah, that's the tricky. Although having said that, the I've forgotten the name of it, but the TiVo app on the Peanut remote on the iPhone, that actually works quite well and has a keyboard on it.
There just seems to be a number of solutions out there, but probably just not quite the perfect one just yet. Anyway, I mean, there's talk about sort of using ones with HDMI CEC bridges and things like that, so that you can control the things over HDMI. So. There's a post that I put up, and there's lots of comments on the post as well. So have a look at that. It's got some of the solutions on there. But if you've got a solution that you think's better than what I've already mentioned, let me know, and we'll include that on a future show. I tell you, we did have one email in, and I'll find out who it was from while we're talking, saying maybe we should go back to sort of doing some of our setups again. I think he called it TDL Cribs.
I like that idea.
Yeah. So maybe we could, you could do a little video setup of showing sort of what you've got, and you can see your remotes and everything else. So I think that would be a good idea for a future set of shows. So maybe Gary, you could kick us off and do one of those for us.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. Mine changes every day almost. So it'd be out of date by the time I posted it.
Yeah, so maybe we should all do one of those, and maybe even if we could perhaps come with a competition or something like that, and highlight those. So we'll definitely look at do something like that. Right, so that was the remote controls. A lot of options out there, and interesting to hear what other people are using. Also, this week, my movies has been updated. The team have been busy once again. I think we've got updates for the home server version and for the media
haven't we got a little bit of theme music for that yet? It's the
yeah,
it's the update of the week from.
that's from your neck of the woods, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it's just a bit further along in you, isn't it? Was it Norwich or something?
It is not. It is not.
What's your home, isn't it? Yeah.
It was my it's one of the places I've lived in my past. And any Alan Partridge jokes at this moment in time will be. I did do hospital radio in Norwich, but there we go.
And did you go, aha?
I probably did at one stage.
Well, I'm going to get some theme music for you. I think maybe I should drop it in. I'll edit it in at some point, as long as I don't get done by the copyright police for dropping.
Yeah. Anyway, so my movies has been updated yet again.
Right. Yeah. So what's new in the? So let's start with the media center version.
Good question, actually. I looked. Yeah, I'll have to load the post up again because I was trying to remember. So I was trying to remember if there's actually any new features in it this time, or it's just really fixes.
It's fixes, I think. I've just done a quick look. There's June Path for TV series, 3D Blu-ray checkbox.
Yeah, that's actually quite useful. If you've got Blu-rays and you want to catalog them, it's quite useful to actually be able to keep track of them that way. The June things for the June Media Player, which a lot of people who use my movies in Europe use that. It's actually one of the main sort of streaming clients that people use with it.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen people mention that a few times now. So what is that?
So it's basically a streaming box. It's a June Media Player. It's there's more than one June Media Player. It's quite. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember if it's a German company. I'm just trying to remember. June HD is the website, so it's june-hd.com, and they've got a whole load of different media ones. They've got Blu-ray players. They've got just about have a look in the site, and there's four different units there. I'm still trying to work out if it's a German company or not, but see what I can find. It's June HD. So it's very popular in Germany, and parts of the rest of Europe as well. And they do about 4 different media boxes I can work out.
And so it seemed to me there wasn't any major features, mainly sort of those updates.
Yeah.
And I think the same goes for the home server one.
All gone quiet.
It's gone. Oh, I got a link.
Yeah, sent you through a link for you.
Okay.
Right,
yeah, so I was just saying the home server one. I think that's mainly just a few fixes, and I think there was a Blu-ray sort of a better failure on if there's problems with the Blu-ray.
Yes, yeah, they've just done a few tweaks, but I mean it's great that they keep updating it and keep bringing more and more stuff into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're always well on top of keeping those up to date. So, I mean, if you start to if you pay, I think it's the points, isn't it, that you get with that, or you can contribute. But if you get the points, you're still getting good value.
You can. I mean, you can either buy points or you can contribute updates to the information on their database to get points. Well, that's becoming more and more difficult to do because there's less and less stuff which they haven't got on there. But you can just buy the points if you want to go that way. And it's a really good product, especially if you're still using Media Center. I noticed on Daniel's review of Media Portal, there looks like there's something fairly equivalent for Media Portal.
Yeah, they've got a couple of movie type app type things on there. There's like the one I'm using is called Moving Pictures, which is it's more like a bit more like media browser than it is My Movies, because it just grabs all the metadata as and when. So you add an item on and it'll just grab grab it, straight away and give you all the details there. But it serves my purposes. I've tried my movies before, but I don't know. I don't think it's more than I needed. Let's put it that way. I just need something simple, and I think something that gives me a nice couple of screens and some metadata works fine, and it works very well.
Yeah, I think that's sometimes that is all you need, isn't it? Just a bit of metadata, and you could either go sort of the full route of index and everything, or you can just go with the sort of the light metadata. I used to use YAM to get the metadata, but I kind of seem to have got out of the habit of using anything really recently.
Yeah, well, as with XBMC and Media Portal, it does it. It's built in now, so you just throw the movie in there in its own folder, and within seconds you've got all the info. So it's pretty unnecessary, really.
I mean, my movies, I've got to say, they've done such a great job of supporting Media Center and making their apps available now across the platforms. They are really sort of the standout Media Center developers for virtually from day one when the first HTML applications were enabled. A couple of comments. Rich said he agreed. He said look forward to see what XBMC can do because he last used it on a hacked first gen Xbox. Well, I think it's changed quite a bit since then, but there's been quite a lot of development since then.
It's changed beyond recognition, I should think, since then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I first started using it back in the day. It was pretty. It was very good for its time. But yeah, it's changed so much since then.
Yeah, and you can use those sort of monthly builds now. You can go for a stable build, or you can go for sort of the faster updated build. I think they do them on a month cycle now.
Yeah, that's nice. Actually, I've been updating roughly on the monthly cycle because it means you can get a few extra features now and again. Usually it's more to do with stability, but I think they're trying to add in at least one feature every time now, aren't they? And they've added the Air Tunes was the last big one they did for Windows at least, and I still use it on occasion. Even though I'm using Media Portal more, because there's just a lot of the plugins for XBMC are a lot more mature, and there's a few things that work slightly better than on Media Portal. But I'm still gonna have it installed no matter what. Yeah.
A couple of bits and pieces I want to mention. NVIDIA have beta drivers for Windows 8. So if you've got a GeForce, I think it's for the GeForce cards. You can 64-bit, 32-bit versions. So they're a bit behind AMD. AMD have been quite quick in releasing their drivers. But at least, as we said a couple of weeks ago on the show, at least there's drivers out there, and a lot better than the Vista situation where there's no drivers around for ages.
Yeah, as we said last week, it's a lot easier to get the drivers out because it's very similar to Windows 7. But it's good to see them coming out as quick as they are.
Yeah, I think I seem to think apart from a tablet PC, most of the drivers have been auto-detected anyway. I've not really had any issues with drivers.
No, but I think there's some features missing in the standard drivers it detects, so it's nice to have these new ones out there.
Media Center Master, I know one of Andrew's favourite applications for a good tool for organising your Media Center collection. Your media collection has been updated today. I think that's part of their automatic update. So I think there's mainly bug fixes and user manager crashes and that kind of thing it fixed.
Yeah. As Andrew says, it's a really, really powerful tool for getting metadata in, and again, just nice fixes and nice to see it keeping up to date.
And now I know you lot laugh at me with my Galaxy Note. The 5.3 inch screen. But what about a 5.8 inch screen?
I'll say even better phone for you.
No, it's not a phone though. It's the Galaxy Player 5.8. Now it seems to be Samsung just keep going for every single screen size combination possible. I think you can get the Player in 3.8, 4, 5, now 5.8. Competitor to the iPod, I suppose, iPod Touch. We saw some of these, didn't we? The Gadget Show. I think the Sony one we looked at, and a couple of the other media players. But I don't know if there's a lot of market for the media only players, or so the non-phone players, Android players?
But there is, but it's an interesting market, and I'm not sure this actually addresses it because of its structure. But I was told that one of the big markets for that type of thing is actually the under 12s, where the people don't want to buy them a phone, but do want to buy them stuff that they can play their games on and everything else, and music, etc.
I mean, I know my lads love their iPods, but they keep now talking about phones, and they're talking about getting an Android phone. So maybe this would where that would fit in, where the transition from an Apple to Android, this might be the better way.
Yeah, yes, possible.
But 5.8 screen is big, isn't it? I mean, I don't know how. It's a funny screen resolution as well. I think it was 960 by 540, whereas the Galaxy Note was 1280 by something. So it seems a bit of an odd screen resolution. Maybe it cuts down the price.
Yeah.
But I think, depending on the price, I think you're going to be pretty hard pressed to beat the value of the Nexus 7 if you want an Android device at a couple £100.
Yeah, which doesn't seem too bad a price.
Yeah, whether you fit one of these in your pockets. So I think so. This week you're going to head over to IFA, as you like.
I am. Yes. Yeah.
So you might be able to go and have a look at these.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be at the Samsung press conference, so hopefully I can get some information if they're allowed to talk about anything. Obviously, with the whole thing with Apple and winning their court cases, but if they are allowed to talk anything, I'll be covering it.
I know we didn't really talk about this. The Apple winning the case. There's plenty of you can read about it just about everywhere. But whether it makes a difference to,
I'm not sure how much difference it makes in Europe. It certainly makes a big difference in America potentially. It'd be interesting to get some people's feedback on this, on how that plays into Windows Phone's hand potentially, if because obviously the case has been against Samsung, but a lot of the things they actually won on apply generally to Android phones. So unless Android manufacturers or Android phone manufacturers are prepared to license things off Apple, they may find themselves in the same boat. So but obviously this has still got to go through appeals, etc. So there's a long way to play on it. But I do know from previous experience that where things have been laid down like this before, that in Germany things can get pulled very quickly from show floors, and it's happened a lot at IFA in the past. Where
it happened last year, I think, didn't it? With the tabs or something. Yeah,
something like that. Basically some injunction very quickly in Germany. You can't talk about anything. So I might attend this press conference on Thursday and not be able to see anything, but I'm sure there will be some stuff there.
Because I think I tried to find the press release, but I don't think they've actually sort of published all the press releases. I think they've got a couple of all-in-ones that look quite interesting. But I noticed a lot of people on Twitter today, they've got S Launcher, which is effectively a start button back in Windows 8.
Samsung's own launcher, yep.
Yeah, so if anybody that's really desperate and can't work out how to use a start button, the new start menu, you've got the start button back in Windows 8. This is, and I did see somebody say this is why Microsoft have to do Surface to not put all the crap on there and just get a decent, proper experience of Windows out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'll be reporting back. So you've got a busy day this week then.
Yeah, Thursday is a very busy day because I'm basically doing it as a day trip. So I'm flying out at some unearthly o'clock, probably actually earlier than I got up this morning. That's pretty early because I was doing a conference call in the States this morning. But I'm flying out, and then I'll be there for the day and flying back in the evening.
And then you've got all evening to put the posts up.
I have, yeah. Well, I'll try and just live post from some of the conferences, some of the actual events. There's a couple of conferences going on, a couple of visits to some stands and that. So hopefully, but Samsung one I'll try and do some live posting from, and also I think there's a Lenovo on the same day. I'll try and do some live posting from as well.
Yeah, I think the Samsung one is during the day, isn't it, on the Thursday?
It is, yeah. Yeah.
So if there's a live stream, maybe I'll be able to do something, because you can always jump in the chat room if you can get anything on there.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff. I look forward to seeing that. So I think that's everything I wanted to cover on this week's show.
I've got a couple of things just to bring up. I'm actually writing a post at the moment, which is about something which has been a lifesaver for me this week, and it's something people may have come across. I don't know if you've ever moved Windows 7 or even Server 2008 from to new hardware. So you've got a disk which is working, you take it out of one box and put it into another box. Say you've had a catastrophic failure, your motherboard needs replacing, something like that, and you get the situation where it just boots in a circle. It gets to the Windows screen, then just reboots.
Oh yeah,
gets
seen that. Yeah,
yeah, it happens all the time. It's a very common thing, and the reason for it is basically, well, one of the main reasons for it is to do with the hard drive controllers. It's basically the driver isn't there on the. Well, it's actually there because Windows 7 installs all the drivers, but it's not enabled on the boot disk. So if you changed hardware and it's gone from IDE to AHCPI or something like that, and it's just boot, and there doesn't seem to be a way out of it. You can the only way a lot of people suggest is to do a full reinstall. There's a really nice tool out there. It's called Fix7 HDC, and it's just it runs from a Windows PE environment, so a boot disk environment. You can boot it from a Windows 7 boot disk and run it. And basically, what it does, it detects on your disk drive version of Windows what drivers are missing from the hardware you're putting on, and actually injects those drivers onto that disk drive before it boots. Then it'll just boot. In my case, it booted 100% fine after doing that. So
that's good.
Absolute lifesaver.
Yeah, because I've definitely had that.
It happens all the time. I've done moves. And this actually, in this case, it was actually a Server 2008 build, which decided to crash fairly catastrophically. And although we had backups for it, we couldn't get the same hardware because the hardware was no longer production. So had to move it to new hardware, and it was just slightly different on drivers, and it would have been virtually impossible to get everything, well, in timescales, to get everything reinstalled. But this literally took 5 minutes to solve the problem. So well worth knowing about, and I will put a post up shortly on that. So we've got that up there. And the other thing I just wanted to briefly mention is that we had a few questions in on the JRiver side of things, and I've been asked by the JRiver team if people can post them in their forum so other people can actually learn about the problems as well, which seems like sensible things. They're going to feed them back to us, so we can also feed back the answers as well to the listeners. But I think that makes an awful lot of sense, because then other people can find the answers as well.
Yeah, makes sense, definitely.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, have a good time on Thursday.
Well,
we'll follow your exploits. Where can we follow you then?
You can follow me on Twitter at GaryWMA, that's Gary 2 R's, and also, of course, on the Digital Lifestyle. And
do we need an MPEG-2 codec to be able to listen to you then?
I don't know. Probably need a WMA one.
And Daniel, where's the best place to follow you?
You can find me on Twitter at Dangelus, or if you go to my website, dangelus.com.
Excellent. I know you've got another podcast that you're part of as well.
Yeah, I just started up a little tech podcast with a friend of mine in the States, where we talk about what we use and how we use it, and what gadgets and technology and software we're into, and on a sort of a casual basis, really. It's not really a news show, but hopefully we'll get that going soon. We've got one episode out now. It's called Technocratic.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate you joining us today, and good stuff with the Media Portal post. And I'm sure we'll have you back on the show not too distant future.
Thank you very much, Ian.
Right. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks to everybody in the chat room. It was always busy in there tonight, actually. Very always enjoyable to see you in there. And we'll see you next week.
I'll try to be all awake next time.
After Thursday, it might be difficult.
Yeah, I'll try.
Okay. See you. Okay, so stop the live